Yo, what's good, my good people? Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a bit of just a discussion style video, laid back video. I haven't recorded one of these in a minute, so I'm going to try keep it short, keep it sweet. As you may have seen from the title, this is basically just the 10 video games that I would, if I could relive them all over again, the games that touched me the most, whether it was whether it was the story or the gameplay or just like a moment in time in life, that kind of shit, like whatever it was. So the first game that I have on this list is going to be Crash Bandicoot. And now the reason why Crash holds a special place in my heart, and if I could I would play it all over again for the first time, is because it's probably one of the first games that I experienced on PlayStation. I've mentioned this on the channel before. The very first games that I played was on the Sega Mega Drive and a couple of Nintendo systems back in the day, but that was the usual like Mortal Kombat fighting games and that kind of thing. But when I got my hands on a PlayStation 1, the games that I really got drawn to outside of FIFA, because I loved fucking football, so FIFA was obviously one of the games that I played. But aside from that, there was Soul Calibur and there was fucking Crash Bandicoot, dude. And I remember you used to just spend hours on hours, like fucking, I would get immersed and just lost in the game. And I think that's actually something we've lost in gaming these days. Not many games have just so much endless replay value, where it's just like a fun game without it having to have like a deep story or, you know, like innovative mechanics or something like that. Just like a fun pick up and play enjoyable type game kind of thing. And it reminds me of games kind of like, I'm going on a tangent and so I do apologize, when EA used to have their big division. I think it was actually officially called EA Sports Big, when they used to make FIFA Street, NBA Street, Def Jam, all those type of games where they were just like super fun and they were just super enjoyable takes on like their existing franchises. So breakaways from like NBA, breakaways from FIFA, breakaways from like Def Jam was just basically a mesh of like Fight Night and kind of mixed up fighting games. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot would be the first one on my list that I would say, that's a game that I really would wish I could play again for the first time. Again, both because of how good it was, but also because of the time that I was able to play it, and the fact that it's one of the games that got me into gaming as a whole. And now the second game that I have on this list is also a game that was around that time, but slightly later, because this was the PlayStation 2 era, and this would be Ratchet and Clank. And again, maybe it's just childhood, like I never know with these games, and you're gonna notice it with the first 3 games on my list. I feel like maybe it's childhood nostalgia that's kind of giving me that bias and that type of shit, but for some fucking reason Ratchet and Clank was just the perfect game. I used to just enjoy running through the levels over and over again. I could play it endlessly, and yeah, there's not much more to say, because again, the next game on my list that I'm gonna add is gonna be Jak, but it's not the first Jak and Daxter, it's gonna be Jak 2. Because for some reason, Jak 2 is the one that I probably played the most, and I had a friend, my childhood best friend growing up, called Chico, and he used to live maybe like 6-7 houses down from where we used to stay, and we used to just like trade PlayStation games and all that type of shit. And I remember this was like the one game that we used to fight over, because like I remember I had the game and then I used to hate like loaning it to him because he would give me other games like Wipeout and that kind of stuff. But I remember fucking going back and forth with Jak 2. I've lost count of the number of playthroughs that I played of Jak 2. Especially I remember this like one dome level. I'll try to throw the footage up on the video or whatever, and like the footage is not going to be my footage, of course, if it's like really old games, because I never recorded that gameplay, but I'll be using my footage for some of the newer games on the list that I have. But yeah, going back to Jak 2, like there was just this level, I forgot, it was like a sand desert or something like that, some dome level, and I just remember just getting lost in over and over again. Just the gameplay mechanics, the gameplay loop was super fun, super chill, super laid back, like oof. Good times, good time in gaming. Like the PlayStation 2 era is probably my favorite era in gaming, even though on this list I'm gonna have a lot more PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. Probably only one PS3 game. I'll have to double check as I go through the list, but yeah, PlayStation 2 was just like a fun fucking gaming era. But again, I never know if it's nostalgia or if it's just genuinely was a dope fun era, or maybe it was because, you know, we were kids and that kind of thing, and we just had no responsibilities and that type of shit, so we kind of used to get more attached to those games. Who knows? And then the next game that I have on the list is, of course, this is when we start to get into the newer gen of games. So this is going to be GTA 4. And for me, a lot of people, I feel like they would prefer either GTA San Andreas or GTA 5. But for me, GTA 4, there's just something about the story it's probably the grittiest GTA that I would say, and gritty in terms of like it had a darker tone to the story. It was like more serious, more akin to like the Red Dead Redemption story, right? It was less fun, less laid back. It was still super. It had the fucking hilarious moments. It had one of the best DLCs ever in Rockstar history, which was the Ballad of Gay Tony. And it just had just a lot of super fun shit. The driving mechanics, people always stay debating whether or not this was the best driving that's been in a GTA game, so that's another like dope, just chill thing. But yeah, GTA 4, maybe I feel like the reason why I would play this story all over again is because this is probably the GTA story that resonated with me the most in terms of just being at a time when I was able to start, you know, getting really in-depth of stories. Because I'd say like GTA San Andreas was super fun, but like when you go back to the GTA San Andreas story, when you're older, you start to understand things a little more. So I guess maybe GTA 4 was like the bridge of when I started understanding and appreciating some nuances in storytelling that I probably wouldn't appreciate when I was younger. So I guess that's why GTA 4 holds that special place in my heart. And the next game that I'm going to add, which is surprisingly not as high on the list. So this is going to be, what did we start off with? We started with Crash Bandicoot, so that was 10. Ratchet and Clank was 9. 8 was Jak 2. 7 was GTA 4, and 6, surprisingly, it's actually one of my favorite games of all time, but this is again with the context of I would want to experience it all over again. So 7 is going to be God of, I lost my notepad. There we go, my notepad there. So wait, 10, Crash Bandicoot, 9, Ratchet and Clank, 8, Jak 2, 7, GTA 4, 6 is where we're going at, and it's going to be God of War 2018. Now, the reason why I have it 6 and I don't have it slightly higher is because I do have the more attachment to like the older God of War games. So I would say if I was to rank, because I think I did a video on my channel ranking the God of War games. I don't remember if I ever published it, but if I was to rank those videos, I would slightly put the other God of Wars higher because again, those are the ones that introduced me to the franchise, the Greek mythology. I was slightly more attached to that before we moved on to like the Norse mythology and everything. But God of War 2018 was probably the game changer for God of War that I would say. That opened it up to like a bigger audience. It opened it up more to the storytelling aspect of the game, the storytelling world, the narratives in the game, that kind of thing. So I would want to play it all over again, definitely. I still think it's a superior game to God of War Ragnarok. I again mentioned in my review for Ragnarok that similar to Horizon Forbidden West, I think Ragnarok was able to build on everything that they did well on God of War 2018. Same thing Horizon Forbidden West was able to build on Zero Dawn. But the platform is what differentiates it and sets it apart. So for me, God of War 2018 being the base and the platform of how they started the Norse mythology, introducing us to Atreus and all sorts of things. The whole father-son, I don't know what it's called, like a father-son dialogue combination, whatever, that whole thing of seeing Kratos evolve. That was super dope. So if I could, I would definitely play that all over again. But I would put it 6th on my list. I wouldn't put it, you know, as high. But again, the reason why I keep adding that context, people who've known and watched this channel for a long time know that God of War is my favorite franchise of all time. So having it this kind of low on the list is a bit surprising, but it is what it is. And then now we go for the top 5.
Screw it.
Right there.
Shit.
Imagine having to put down your own brother.
Oh my god.
Oh. Died last time. Come on, let's go. Woo. Let's go. It's those father-son moments again. Oh, but now Freya's here as well.
That if you just build great games, everything would turn around.
And then the great games point is the one that I wanted to argue against heavily, because what is the point of your console if it's not for games? Like, what is the point of having a console if you're just going to do Game Pass and cloud gaming? Like,